Also, recently, we had a group of children join us. And when we first started our ministry, we said if children weren't accompanied by an adult, we couldn't feed them. We had this group of children come in, and Eudora, they were a bunch of hooligans, weren't they, when they first got there? Yes. So they were running around, and in St. Thomas Hall, which is St. Michael's Fellowship Hall, it's the same room, these children would be running around, screaming and yelling, carrying on, and through kind words, I have to say, these children began to settle down and really connect with the people at the Community Meals program. I have to tell a story, and I'll probably forget parts of it, but one of the days the children early on came in and they were really wound up, tighter than a top. They stopped, they paused, and the one girl said to me, "You know, I sing in the school choir." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she looked up, and here's this, I'll make fun of you a little, this regal picture of Pastor Ingram, which had been in the newspaper, I think, right? He was up on the bulletin board, and the young girl said, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's Pastor." Is that her sister? And I'm like, "Oh, no, there's only one Pastor Ingram here." So she looked like she was very intrigued with Pastor Ingram, so I walked the children down and I introduced them to Pastor Ingram. And I have to, this is another side note. Pastor saw me coming, and you know how people know something important is going to happen? Well, Pastor Ingram knew that, and she actually stopped her conversation that she was having with an adult and turned and faced the children as they came to her. And I have to say that day I think the children connected with Pastor. They've been at church every Sunday since.
They're being baptized tomorrow.
They're being baptized tomorrow. So that just stopping and acknowledging that the children were there, we could have, if our ministry told us so, which it doesn't, is to say, "You're not welcome, you're unruly, you're whatever." And we didn't do that. We said, "You are welcome." And with kind words and guidance from Miss Eudora and from other volunteers and Pastor Ingram paying attention and seeing that something important was going to happen, we've probably been able to reach and change those children's lives forever. So thank you, Pastor, for that. So, oh, by the way, those children are also the children who are there every Saturday morning to help me unload the car, or help the team unload the car. They're there opening the door, carrying in things, and you can just see them changing every week that we're there. Some of the other ministries that we indirectly support or directly support, I just want to mention, both congregations have parishioners and neighbors who are in need. There is food that goes out to the neighborhoods and to parishioners. We also supply food to Grace Lutheran Food Pantry in West Philadelphia every Thursday. It's another one of our ELCA congregation churches who are reaching out to the community and supplying food. Some of the food that we share from our Whole Foods and our Starbucks connection, if you will, is with Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous that is run out of St. Michael's every week, I believe. And that food is prepared by some of the same volunteers that are here at the Community Meals program, and we support the people of those people who are struggling in those areas. We have two other ministries that I want to just briefly talk to you about that is connected somehow with the Community Meals program, and one is one that Pastor Ingram is especially in tune with and committed to, and that's the HIV awareness program. Every Saturdays, there is the awareness and support going on for HIV, and then once a month there's HIV testing. And it's a very important ministry. It's something that we need to make sure that in our communities that we're talking about, we're not afraid to talk about it, and we make sure that we support people who are either working in that area or have friends who are HIV positive. Just another very important ministry. And I'm going to take another liberty here to tell you that Pastor Ingram is now traveling all over the United States speaking on this topic, but she was one of 3 people, right, that were asked to come down to speak to 32,000 kids at the National Youth Gathering in in New Orleans this past year. And as St. Peter's and St. Michael's knows that it's a place where youth, high school age, all come together and do social ministry, outreach ministry. And Pastor was on stage. We watched her streaming on video as she spoke to 32,000 kids, and it was awesome. If you haven't had an opportunity to hear Pastor Ingram speak on that topic, I encourage you to go to the ELCA website, to the National Youth Gathering subpage, and you can see her just by clicking on the link. And there's one other ministry that I want to talk about, and that is on Saturdays, St. Michael's has a table in the back hallway where they put